Lots to talk about. That Colorado low that we have been tracking for days is due to make impact later tonight going into the pre-dawn Sunday, which is why we have those special weather statements in effect for tomorrow. Let's break it down a little bit. So it makes its way through, depending on where you are, it's going to be either snow, freezing rain, or a mix of ice pellets. So messy for everyone tomorrow morning. So if you need to go anywhere, please drive safely. And again, we're going to be tracking that all day long. So in terms of accumulation, well, Toronto, you could see up to 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. And also in the morning, up to 3 hours may come down in terms of ice pellets. So again, especially in the morning, please be careful, but it's going to be making impact all day long. Moving over into the Atlantic, boy, oh boy, has it been storm after storm for you. But rain is really the story for the eastern parts of Newfoundland, and then heavy snowfall continues to the east. So there's that up to 15 centimeters of snow can be seen in certain areas. Prairies, really great news. So for the most part, Edmonton, Alberta, you're going to be quite clear and dry today, but some risk of that freezing drizzle to the south. Now the holidays are right around the corner, and that means for most of us, Christmas trees. But did you know that there might be a shortage? Here's a look. We have that snow as well. Hi there, I am Sonia Sache. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to talk about the Atlantic in just a little bit, but we do have a special weather advisory for tomorrow in Ontario, and that is because of that Colorado low that we've been talking about will make impact by tomorrow. It's going to start off for the most part messy for everyone. By the afternoon, Toronto, some mixing, and then heavy snow it will turn into by the afternoon, and then into the evening we might see some freezing drizzle in Toronto, London, maybe some fog, maybe some rain, but definitely to the north, that's where we're going to see most of that snowfall accumulation, up to 10 centimeters in Toronto, and more than that, obviously, the further north that we go. But the Atlantic, it's going to be storm after storm. The high comes in, making it very cold, lots of wind gusts as well. But check out what snowplows in Lethbridge are up to right now, working 12-hour days. That's definitely making the best out of the worst situation. Now, we have that Colorado low that we've been talking about for a really long time, making its impact tonight, pre-dawn Sunday. So get ready for it. It's going to be very messy tomorrow, depending on where you are. Let's try to break it down. So for the most part in the morning, Toronto might start off with some snow first, and then about 1 to 3 hours of ice pellets, and then back to snow. This is where that freezing rain risk may impact you, Niagara region and London and Simcoe areas as well. And then the ice pellet that we've just talked about. But into the afternoon, Toronto, you could see some mixing, heavy snow to the east and north as well. London, maybe freezing drizzle, but we're keeping our eye on that. Snowfall accumulation, well, Toronto, you could see up to 10 centimeters, but the further north that you go into this belt area, up to 15 centimeters of snow can be seen. So if you don't need to be on the road, maybe it's best that you don't. But here's a look at BC. What a gorgeous view. You've been dry for the most part for a while, but let's get into what we can expect over the next couple of days in BC. So that high pressure system is definitely keeping you dry. It is even pushing that low pressure system down. So again, bringing that snow, maybe we might see some of that snow into the interior going into Sunday night and Monday morning. But for the prairies, well, good news. For the most part, Calgary, Edmonton, you're going to be dry. Regina, Winnipeg, you might see some of that freezing drizzle just for the next couple of days. But we have all of that and more. Your locals are right now. Well, thank you for that gloomy news. I might have a little bit of that gloomy news for you as well. Colorado low, this is a special weather advisory for tomorrow because it does make impact tonight going into pre-dawn tomorrow morning. So it's going to be very messy all day long for everyone from London all the way into Ottawa. So keep us on. Even if you've got that weather app, we're going to break it all down for you. But this is where we anticipate the freezing rain. So right in between the London and Kitchener areas, that's where the heaviest likelihood of that freezing rain will take place. And this is where we might notice more of those ice pellet risks, maybe into the afternoon going into Sunday, impacting our Monday as well. Toronto, we could see up to 10 centimeters of snow. And speaking of snow, Whistler was without it. But we have our very own Mia Gordon. She actually popped by on their opening day. It's a really great story. Here it is. Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in. Let's dive right in. Tomorrow we are expecting a very messy system. Take a look at what's expected. It's that Colorado low. It's going to make its way through, and what's going to happen? Well, in the morning, it's going to be messy for everyone. And in saying that, we have special weather statement advisories all the way from London into the east of Kingston. So let's try to break it down. By the morning, Toronto, basically first snow, and then about 1 to 3 hours of ice pellets, and then back to snow in the morning. London, most likely that rain, freezing rain, and maybe some drizzle. In the afternoon, Toronto, mixing is what we're going to see along that edge. And then it might be freezing rain and drizzle, possibly into the Hamilton area. But let's break it down even further into the afternoon. What can we expect? Or evening? Toronto, freezing drizzle is possible. London, maybe some fog. Definitely to the north and to the east is where we're going to see the abundance of snow. But again, keep it here, keep it locked, because we're going to give you minute by minute reports. So the accumulation, well, up to 10 centimeters in Toronto, and in Barrie about 10 to 15 into Monday. Moving into the Atlantic, boy, is it messy. We have many advisories still in effect and will take place until tomorrow. So again, gusty winds definitely possible. Let's check in actually into Manitoba. So wintry weather, but that is subsiding. Atlantic, though, again, this high pressure system is keeping you cool. That does move off the shore, which is wonderful. However, still heavy rain and snowfall continues. Here is our Met in a minute, though. Thank you, Chris May. Well, speaking of ice and storms, we are now in a special weather statement and advisory across southern Ontario. It is that Colorado low that is going to hit late tonight, going into the pre-dawn of Sunday. So let's try to break it down for you. We have this system that makes its impact all the way through. What does that mean? Depending on where you are, we could see that snow to the north, mixing in between, and then freezing rain to the south. So in the morning, messy for everybody. Mixed precip all across the board, but Toronto mostly snow first, then about 1 to 3 hours of ice pellets, and then back to snow. In the afternoon, further to that, so Toronto, you might see some of that mixing along the shore here. Heavy snow to the east and north areas, and then London might see maybe some freezing drizzle, quite possibly. Into the evening, well, take a look at this. Toronto, some freezing drizzle is possible. We're not sure yet. London, though, might see some of that fog and maybe a little bit of snow, and then definitely snow to the east and to the north. What does that look like in terms of accumulation? Up to 15 centimeters in Barrie. So again, to the further north that we go, Toronto could see between 5 to 10 centimeters. Moving over to the Atlantic. So we have a lot of special weather statements still in effect that is going to continue all the way into tomorrow. But let's actually check in with Quebec. That's making its way through, but a gorgeous shot nonetheless. So let's take a look at, Newfoundland, St. John's. For you, it's going to be mostly a rain system to the east, and then mostly snow to the north and to the west. But we have all of that. Your local weather is happening right now. There's lots to talk about. That Colorado low that we have been tracking for days is due to make impact later tonight, going into the pre-dawn Sunday, which is why we have those special weather statements in effect for tomorrow. Let's break it down a little bit. So it makes its way through, depending on where you are, it's going to be either snow, freezing rain, or a mix of ice pellets. So messy for everyone tomorrow morning. So if you need to go anywhere, please drive safely. And again, we're going to be tracking that all day long. So in terms of accumulation, well, Toronto, you could see up to 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. And also in the morning, up to 3 hours may come down in terms of ice pellets. So again, especially in the morning, please be careful, but it's going to be making impact all day long. Moving over into the Atlantic, boy, oh boy, has it been storm after storm for you. But rain is really the story for the eastern parts of Newfoundland, and then heavy snowfall continues to the east. So there's that up to 15 centimeters of snow can be seen in certain areas. Prairies, really great news. So for the most part, Edmonton, Alberta, you're going to be quite clear and dry today, but some risk of that freezing drizzle to the south. Now the holidays are right around the corner, and that means for most of us, Christmas trees. But did you know that there might be a shortage? Here's a look. Well, our power system might be challenged tomorrow as this Colorado low makes its way through. Yes, we are anticipating a lot of miserable weather tomorrow, from freezing rain to heavy snow to that drizzle in between. Now, the dark pink colors, that's where the heaviest risk of freezing rain will be. Woodstock, as an example, all the way into Niagara Falls, could see some of that tomorrow. And then the ice pellet risk, while Kitchener, Orangeville, and even Hamilton area and parts of Niagara Falls could also see that risk of ice pellets. Let's break it all down. In the morning, messy for everybody. Toronto might be snow first, and then you might see 3 hours of that ice pellet fall. Then mixing in the afternoon for Toronto, definitely snow to the north. And then London, it just might be freezing rain to start, and then just that rain accumulation. Now let's talk about the snow accumulation. Toronto, you could see up to 10 centimeters, and then in and around the Barrie area, you could see up to 15 centimeters. But again, that was one of the first storms that hit. We have another one that is anticipated to strike this evening into pre-dawn Sunday, and this is why we have our special weather statement. Freezing rain, heavy snow, and more is all on the menu tomorrow. This is why we have that Colorado low that we have been tracking for several days, and it is going to make its way through. What does that mean? Well, in the morning, Toronto mainly snow, and then that will change most likely up to 3 hours of ice pellets hitting. London all the way to Hamilton could see some of that freezing rain in the morning, and then a mix into the afternoon to the north. By all day long, actually all the way into the evening, could see some of that snow. So again, this is the amounts that we could see. Now, recent reports finds that the 2019 floods were not human error.